reflecting on the suffering of uncertainty. Whipping at the donkey until it bleeds. Who understands the sorrow of our mother? Leading the swine to slaughter. Who can feel the pain of a father? Even a nobleman like King Wen of Zhou did not realize he was eating the flesh of his son. Ordinary beings, too, consume their own kin in ignorance. Cases: whipping at the donkey until it bleeds. Once upon a time in Jinggang County, Nanjing, there was a family that raised donkeys. When their child was 3 years old, the mother passed away. In her lifetime, she had not performed any virtuous deeds, so after death, she was reborn as a donkey in the same household. 16 years passed in the blink of an eye. One day, the son loaded the donkey with grain and drove it home. The donkey, being old and weak, moved slowly. The son got angry and whipped it fiercely until its skin split and blood flowed. The old donkey stared at her former son, weeping in sorrow, but the son had no idea that the animal before him was his mother. That night, the son dreamed that the donkey spoke to him. "I was your mother. Because I stole 4 taels of silver from your father in my past life, I was punished by being reborn as a donkey to repay the debt. Now, my debt is settled and my retribution has come to an end. From now on, when you drive me, you cannot whip me so cruelly." The son woke up in shock. From then on, he kept the donkey with care, not daring to use it again. Leading the swine to slaughter. In Huangyan, Zhejiang, there once lived a butcher. On his deathbed, he cut a piece of flesh from his own buttock and ate it. After that, his breath still lingered. So he asked his son to cut him again. Only then did he die. 3 years later, the family raised a pig that grew to weigh 200 pounds. They planned to slaughter it the next day. That night, the son dreamed the pig spoke to him. "I was your father. Because I committed the karma of killing in my past life, I was reborn as a pig." When he woke up, he told his mother about the dream. Realizing its true identity, the mother and son decided to keep the pig and never slaughter it. Such stories are chilling to recount, so we will not delve further into them. They illustrate how sentient beings repay karmic debts to each other. Due to ignorance, ordinary beings do not realize they were once family and thus end up devouring one another. This phenomenon is not limited to animals. During times of famine, there have been cases of cannibalism, and such tragedies have occurred more than once in history. When people are on the brink of starvation, they have no choice but to resort to this. Sometimes humans face such calamities, the consequence of their negative karma. Past lovers may now become enemies. Former foes may now be family. A mother from a previous life may now be one's bride, and a father from a past life may be today's groom. If one could recall past lives, one would feel ashamed. If one saw with heavenly eyes, one would find it absurd. This is the situation of the human world. After reincarnation, due to karmic ties, beings cling to one another. Every thought sows a cause, weaving endless stories of love and resentment. Those linked by karma tend to become entangled with each other. Here is a story. In a wealthy family, a couple gave birth to a child. When the child was a few years old, the father died. The child was bright and his mother loved him deeply. Not long after, the mother also passed away and was reborn as a daughter in another wealthy family in the same town. When she grew up, she happened to marry her son from her previous life. Due to her deep emotional attachment to her past life child, they became a loving couple in this life. Soon they had a son, whom they cherished like a precious jewel. One day, the family slaughtered a chicken for a feast. The husband and wife sat with their son at the table, drinking and feeding the child pieces of chicken. Just as they were enjoying the meal, a monk suddenly came. The couple were shocked and scolded the monk. "Why did you barge into our home? How outrageous!" The monk replied, "You are the outrageous ones." The couple retorted, "What do you mean?" The monk pointed at the husband and said, "You killed your father, defiled your mother, and are raising your enemy. How is that not outrageous?" Hearing this accusation, the husband became furious and ordered his servants to beat the monk and drive him out. The monk said, "I speak the truth. Why beat me? The chicken you are eating is the reincarnation of your father, and your wife is the reincarnation of your mother. Your son is the reincarnation of your enemy. When he grows up, he will kill you. If you don't believe me, I can lend you the divine eye and the power to recall past lives. See for yourself." Through the monk's supernatural ability, the husband gazed into the bowl. He saw that the chicken was indeed once his father, his wife had been his mother, and his son was his past life enemy, now reborn to collect the karmic debt. Truly, if one could recall past lives, one would feel ashamed. If one saw with heavenly eyes, one would find it absurd. This is samsara, evoking a profound sense of renunciation within us. This is how sentient beings undergo reincarnations in samsara. With sufficient merit, one may become a human. With even richer merit, one may be reborn in the heavens. But after death, one may fall into the 3 lower realms. This is how it goes. Sentient beings cling to one another, entangled in love and hate. When things go well, they love each other, but after a while they begin to hurt and resent one another. From a long-term perspective, it is meaningless. The ability to recall past lives can be beneficial. Observing beings in the hells and heavens with the divine eye and recalling one's past lives can quickly give rise to renunciation. In the Buddha's time, many non-Buddhist practitioners cultivated the 4 dhyanas and 8 samadhis. They also possessed supernatural powers. With their divine eyes, they could see past lives, sometimes even many lifetimes. However, they did not understand the root of samsara, nor did they know how to eradicate self-grasping. non-Buddhists are ignorant of non-self. They believe in the existence of samsara and karma, so they accept these two truths, but they don't believe in non-self. During the Buddha's time, many non-Buddhists believed in karma and rebirth. Therefore, karma and reincarnation are not the Buddha's primary teachings. Other traditions, such as Brahmanism and Hinduism, also taught these principles. So, don't stop at this level. If you remain stuck in the human and heavenly vehicle, when encountering non-Buddhist teachings in your next life, you may easily follow them. You will not be inclined to believe in the Dharma. Yet, the moment someone speaks of karma and reincarnation, you'll accept it, regarding it as the entirety of the Dharma. Many non-Buddhist traditions also possess the divine eye and the ability to recall past lives. However, their power is limited. They cannot see very far. They may be able to see dozens of lifetimes, or even a great kalpa, but no further. The route is beyond their sight. The Buddha, with his great wisdom, can sever the root of samsara. Only by identifying the root of samsara can we fundamentally solve the problem. Therefore, the Buddha's teachings are great wisdom. Reflecting on the suffering of the human realm. We spend 10 months amid filth and feces. Then, in an instant, we emerge through a passage of blood and pus in a pitiable state. This statement describes the suffering of 10 months in the womb and the pain of birth. As children, we understand nothing and cannot tell east from west. As adults, we gain some knowledge, and then greed arises. In an instant, aging and sickness come. In a flash, impermanence strikes, and death arrives. In childhood, one understands nothing. From adolescence, desire begins to sprout. While chasing fame, wealth, beauty, and pleasure, aging and illness arrive in the blink of an eye. Day by day, we grow old. As the inner wind and fire consume us, our consciousness declines. Our spirit and blood become exhausted, and our skin and flesh wither and dry up from the outside in. We feel as if every pore is being pierced by a needle and every orifice cut by a blade. Compared to how a turtle's shell is removed when it is being cooked, the departure of consciousness from the body is far more difficult. At the time of death, the inner wind and fire surge, leaving the consciousness muddled without clear awareness. As essence and blood diminish, the skin and flesh wither layer by layer from the outside in. When the 4 elements begin to break down, not a single pore escapes the pain as sharp as being pierced by a needle, and every orifice feels as though cut by a knife. When consciousness is about to leave the body, the agony surpasses that of a turtle being boiled alive and stripped of its shell. The separation of consciousness from the body and the dissolution of the 4 elements are excruciating, so everyone fears death. It is not death itself that is frightening, but the pain of dying and the uncertainty of what follows. We don't know where we will go. Many fall into the 3 lower realms. Moreover, the physical pain of dying is intense. Hence, we fear death. Some people who have engaged in spiritual practice and virtual activities throughout their lives don't fear death. Before death, they may hear celestial beings coming to pick them up and pass away peacefully. Those who sincerely recite the Buddha's name may even see the 3 saints or bodhisattvas from the Western Pureland coming to welcome them. This sign is even more auspicious, showing that they have attained accomplishments in Dharma practice. If we follow the teachings earnestly, we can maintain clear awareness at the time of death, free from physical pain, and then either be reborn in the Western Pure Land or return to the human world to continue our practice, thereby attaining some freedom over birth and death. Although we may not have liberated ourselves from the cycle of rebirth, we can be at ease within it. Those who practice well suffer less in life and death, though they may still experience some pain, for they haven't attained Buddhahood yet. However, while practicing the Bodhisattva path, samsaric suffering becomes lighter and occurs less frequently. Therefore, it is essential to engage in Dharma practice. It is the most meaningful pursuit. It reduces our suffering and brings us happiness. As suffering decreases in every aspect, peace arises. When suffering comes, it is difficult to bear. Even the pain of illness is unbearable, not to mention the agony of the 3 lower realms.